From the unexpected hit that was fan-made mod DayZ to Daybreak Games' copycat attempt spawning, later a new, a bit more refined gameplay type that was King of the Hill, gave wide birth to Battle Royale idea. After which the Bluehole made PUBG, led by what some would call a visionary man named PlayerUnknown, who decided to make his own Battle Royale with blackjack and hookers after departing from Daybreak. But wait, this human centipede of the last 5 years of gaming doesn't end here. Fortnite, a free-to-play variant by Epic Games, was spawned from the Brood, just like Paladins was a free-to-play version of Overwatch. Though that's another story that I wish not to remember, mostly because Hi-Res killed tribes! Anyways, aside from the failed attempts or blatant copies made of Battle Royale from various sources, I'll focus on the big two: PUBG and Fortnite. As for today's targets, try as I might, to everyone I'll sound like pom-pom wearing fanboy in a Borat suit to both sides when talking about the other game. So let's dispense with any sort of unbiased views. So instead, let's call this a view of a hardcore CS source player. Yeah, let's do it. So anyways, let's start with the PUBG since it is the older game, and I also have played it the most. So PUBG, what is this thing? Well, a 100-player deathmatch essentially, and the last person standing can be crowned afterwards as the biggest, filthiest camper in the match. Well, okay, both games actually have the same thing: a map, 100 players, and lots of guns. As for PUBG, basically it's a premium game, aka a game that you buy first and with quite realistic spin on the whole thing, with quite a large map. Due to those aspects, it has this rather slow and tactical gameplay going for it. In essence, the way this game was made was one day PlayerUnknown up and decided to go and make his own Battle Royale with blackjack and hookers, after leaving his development team. Gotta admire that. But seriously, we're running low on hookers. Send help! Now, just like with any prison bitch, you need to inspect the goods. As I started playing the game, it really felt like they copied a lot of what Arma 2 and a mod for it called Wasteland offered, and refined it. And I gotta say, one thing I can't live without these days is a free head look spin move around mode. Or simply put, ability to move your camera, aka character's head, while maintaining direction before switching it. It's really nice to see this feature being used more often these days, as it is a good feature. I also really like the lack of those damn hit markers. Instead, what PUBG World is comprised of is human-shaped filled balloons that spray their juicy loads all over the place once hit. Seriously, these days there are too many games and gamers who rely on hit markers, so it's nice to me to see this design choice being made. Still, if we talk about design, then it's no secret that PUBG uses pre-made assets bought from the assets store. But that's not a bad thing. Cunts that pollute the Steam these days with literally no work and just bunch of assets clobbered and fused together without any single free fuck given is the problem. So because PUBG managed to create gameplay that is good enough that you don't notice such assets, or even sometimes they can help you, only showcases that if you are imaginative and actually give a fuck how you use your tools, you can create something pretty impressive. Though if you're speaking of personal preferences, and no, fetish discussions are next week. For me, the top feature I love to see is weapon customization. Sure, it's no Escape from Tarkov or Ghost Recon games, but even so, I've always loved the ability to pimp my guns and tailor them to way I play. Though Battlegrounds is in this weird position where pretty much everyone gets a raging stiffy after finding a suppressor, so I guess we all have that in common. Oh, and as the last good bit, this game actually came out of early access near the end of 2017. Seriously, it's applaudable. And yet the cynical cunt in me just shivers at the thought that the game studio can call their game a finished thing and deserve applause. What happened to the games? What happened to us? As for the bad things on Battlegrounds, oh fuck me, where to start? Okay, so first off, it's a premium game with microtransactions. Yes, this is getting pretty fucking annoying. And if you don't know why, well, you can go just listen a little bit to Jim fucking Sterling's song, so I won't waste anyone's time. The next issue is rather general. The common look as well as the game's generic feel. See, Battlegrounds artistically really doesn't strike you as a unique looking game. Sure, you don't need everything being Ubisoft levels of iconic, but how would you really visually differentiate it from Arma games? Seriously, they basically have the same look and feel, and that's just one example. But okay, style isn't everything. Still, back in the day and even now, I simply cannot stand how horrible and poorly designed main menu developers had created for Battlegrounds. First off, I'm still baffled that it needs a reload button because design and coding is hard, okay? Don't judge me. Seriously, this is probably the most frustrating part of Battlegrounds. The shit-tacular leaderboards, the borderline amateurish menu. I mean, for chim fucking dildo, mobile games have better UIs. And they have more animations too. At this point, navigating the menu in this game feels like having sex with a roadkill. Yet that's not the worst thing in my mind. So, can anyone answer me? Whose genius idea was it to make this game based on third-person shooter mechanics? Every time I've seen a developer to try to make a first-person shooter out of third-person game, it always have turned into baked cat shit lasagna. Especially for a game that tries to go the more tactical precision gameplay route. But TheYamiks, you are Counter-Strike elitist. Those are not realistic expectations, you wanker. Okay then, I understand developers not wanting to write a code too much for the first and third-person modes, but when you opt for approximations and general half-assed third-person mechanics, once going into first-person, it feels and also looks like garbage, and Battlegrounds is no exception. Gun placement, animations, precision of hipfire, and aim fired, all these things really need good tweaking so that they are responsive and easy to use. After all, if you, as a beginner developer, cannot make a proper FPS model, you know, something that was mastered by the year 2000, you have failed. This is my personal opinion, of course, but we all want to play a game where we press a button and it's not a signal to Hamster Team to start slowly spinning the cogs so our characters start slowly moving. Oh, and hey, do you want to see something amazing? Okay, so step 1, look sideways. Step 2, start running. Now to explain what's happening, here's a demonstration.
It's all like...
Additionally, coming out of early access and gaining lots of funding due to game's tremendous success, you'd think that refining all the things would be a top priority, after pushing microtransactions onto customers, of course. But nope, the frame rate and loading times are still like pulling teeth with disease-covered clamps if you happen to run your game from the hard drive and not an SSD, or you happen to have less than 8 gigs of RAM. Yes, most developers improve performance gradually. That's true with almost any game. But I, as a glorious member of PC Master Race, cannot take this frame rate seriously. Especially for something that looks like this. And finally, this has to be mentioned. The pettiness of development team or the company as a whole is a massive PR disaster. So right now, as I write this script, or wrote that script, or whatever, PUBG, or Butthole Entertainments rather, are suing Epic Games over Fortnite. Since I speak no legalese, all I can say about this sort of news is fucking wow. Just wow. And speaking of, let's talk about Fortnite and what it is. So first off, Fortnite got its Battle Royale treatment after Epic Games sniffed out how popular PUBG got. Of course. Yet, unlike PUBG, Fortnite, or at least the Battle Royale part of it, is free to play. Also, unlike PUBG, Fortnite is quite a bit more simpler game, not having the realistic properties of many things, and instead going for the action angle, and I guess that'd be the easiest way I can describe the game. But what about the good stuff? What kind of meth had Epic Games pumped into this little craftathon thing? Now, while in PUBG you'd throw your typical bombs, bullets and other ordnance at your enemies, Fortnite takes a little bit more liberal approach as to what constitutes a weapon or how it works. If only you were able to throw dildos as throwing knives, and then I would be playing this game for a lot longer, but well, I guess disco bombs will do for now. Anyhow, the amazing shift in tone between today's these games is massive. Fortnite takes the Team Fortress approach to things, cartoony and wacky stuff all over the place. That is to say, the visuals are quite stylized, and to be frank, all the animations, effects, colors, character design, everything just feels so full of joy to me. Seriously, you pick up the game and everything that happens to you or others just has that sense of jolliness that is actually pretty hard to capture. Well, if you're not Nintendo. I actually forgot many annoying little bits while writing this, because the art style and especially animations convey that enjoyment you get from a good piece of entertainment. I guess I've been playing too many hardcore, super serious games lately, but Fortnite surprised me. Mind you, I even came in expecting to hate it due to building aspect and third-person mechanics. But nope, the gameplay came together so well, I almost forgot about those things. So I did mention the third person, which is the only mode, and while normally I would consider that a cheat mode that should not exist in any realistic or semi-realistic player versus player shooter, Fortnite approaches gameplay from an action-based perspective, meaning that it's fast-paced and characters soak up damage like industrial-grade sponge soaks up cum in porn studios, making gameplay more forgiving and reducing the third-person cheat impact. Well, not completely though. One thing that has always impressed me was developer ability to create destructible environments. Okay, well, Fortnite has tile building system to make it easier, and because the game is so cartoony, it fits in right perfectly. And no one's gonna ask, but how? Answer? Space magic, otherwise known as cocaine. Now, Fortnite Battle Royale is a free-to-play game, and after reading some things, yes, it's also an early access game, but reading through multiple sources. Once it goes full free-to-play, it should be as a released game this year. And sure, okay, any promise can be broken. But really, the Battle Royale part of Fortnite is already free to play, so Epic Games just needs to do a little bit more before they can reach that moral high ground of actually having a game being released fully. What a sad world we're living in, huh? But the biggest gold nugget of Fortnite I just stumbled upon when I got bored and looked around the menu a little bit. I saw the cross-platform marker, and after looking it up, yes, Fortnite can be played with a fellow glorious Master Race members, console peasants, or even mobile shitters. But remember, if this game was a little bit more precise, PC Master Race would just dominate everything. So I guess that's a plus and a minus. But anyway, just like with a cake with a hooker in it, you have to put hooker in after you bake the cake. But as it happens, not even Fortnite knew how to follow recipe fully. Still, when I looked at all the negatives of the game that I marked off, most of that was just small nitpicks, and if I were to voice them, I think I would turn into Bluehole. Okay, that was a cheap shot. Well, anyways, moving on then. So I did mention that your character, and more often your enemies, feel like they could soak up so much damage, you start to wonder whether or not this game is made for masochists and sadists. See, I mark off bullet sponge effect as a bad thing because I simply, personally, cannot stand it. And yes, PUBG has that too, well, to a lesser degree, but still. I know that in Fortnite at least it allows you to make a couple of mistakes without punishing players too much. Yet you won't survive a shotgun barrel being buried up your ass so deep it comes out the other end. But screw you, I'm really sick and tired of seeing games that think that straight shot to the face leaves the enemy unfazed, and he can just keep on hopping happily by with a half of his jaw still dangling from his face like a testicle. If there's one legitimate thing I could complain about, it would be the horrible skybox. By which I mean everything that is not the island looks like an aborted concept map from 1999. I know this is not that important, but come on, let's raise some standards over here. TheYamiks wants a better skybox. Meh. And getting back to the things that I personally had issues with when starting to play the game, building mechanic. Once more, this is a personal thing and I just don't like it. But I know it adds an additional layer of gameplay, which in fact should be a positive, not negative. Okay, now compared to PUBG, Fortnite almost has no negatives. Damn, that jolly tone must be working on me more effectively than I thought. But I seriously cannot find many issues with Fortnite. Epic Games set out to do one thing, copy Battle Royale into one of their existing games, and they succeeded. Actually, so much so that you could arguably say it is the leading Battle Royale game in the world. It has a style, character, unique and recognizable ding-dongs. They've done well. I usually am the edgelord who plays and enjoys the serious stuff, but there have been few times when I try tried something silly, wacky, and even cute and end up actually loving it. And Fortnite certainly is one of those things. It completely won me over, even when you remember I said I came in expecting it to be shit. As for PUBG, even after all that's been said, I probably will end up playing it a lot more. I like the slow-paced, tactical gameplay and versatility of all the weapons. And as much as I hate some aspects of it, there are others that keep me coming back. Because, well, I find it a little bit more appealing. Sure, if I want to improve my mood, I'll probably play Fortnite. But unlike Team Fortress 2, it lacks more concise and varied gameplay. In fact, I might actually play Team Fortress instead, if I just want to see a cartoony style. So, I guess gameplay-wise, I should just go and play some Team Fortress. Huh, never thought I'm gonna come to this conclusion. Anyways, both PUBG and Fortnite need refinement. One needs a lot more than the other one, but even so, there's a place in gaming for both games, and I'm glad to see them both. As for the lawsuit, oh my fucking gods, that's just like the stupidest thing ever. Okay, I didn't expect that effect. It just keeps sliding. Oh man, I forgot how good this game is. Oh, Gary's mod, I love you.
Your ass is ass and I'm the grass man, punk, you heathen.
Oh, for fuck. Fuck.
Cause that's physics, right? I mean, come on. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, for fuck's sake. Come on. Ah, fuck. Yes! There we go. That's how physics work, right? The last I checked, parachutes don't do that. Oh my god! That's just sad. Oh, bravo, TheYamiks. Bravo. Let's end on the super high note, right, ladies and gentlemen? Yep. Subscribe if you like this amazing content.